Hey y'all, my name is Ross Holmes and I'm here to give you some sound advice. Another thing I want to talk to you about regarding fiddling is the use of ornamentation. One of the easiest tells that I hear when I listen to fiddle players is how they ornament, and certain languages, certain genres of fiddling use particular ornamentation instead of others, and it's easy to identify. Like Celtic music, for example, like their use of the it's not a trill, it's a kind of even faster than like a grace note. It's just a quick flick. Versus like bluegrass that uses a lot of slides. Even fifths, double stops, that's a bluegrass one. Grace notes, flicks, slides, double stops, how we tend to groove inside of these tunes all create unique individual sounds. Only sounds that, only music that make us sound like ourselves. And I feel at this point in time that as players, to really survive and continue to be hired for gigs, we have to speak multiple languages relatively fluidly. You know, you might get called for a classical concert, and then you have to play a wedding, and then a bar mitzvah, and then a gig at the local pumpkin patch for fall time festivities, and you play turkey in the straw. You know, it's important for us to be able to speak these languages because it's easier than ever to discover these different genres, these different languages of fiddling. And I think it's important to invest a bit of time inside of your own playing. Take something simple like Boil the Cabbage. If you don't know this tune, it's really about as easy as it gets. And I'm just going to show you the A part for now. It starts on the C sharp, it's in the key of A. Starts on C sharp, second finger on the A string. So it's a classic tune. I learned it when I was like 9 years old, first started to play the fiddle. Most fiddle kids start with that tune, but it's the bowing pattern, run pony, run pony. It should be familiar to most of you. Anyway, Boil the Cabbage is a really simple song, and we can do a lot with this. We can add double stops. We can add grace notes. We can add runs. Well, that was a bit of a stretch because that was not a lot of time. But you get the idea of what I'm saying. There are a lot of ways to make yourself sound more convincingly like a fiddle player, but really what it comes down to is the core value of each note that you play. I think there's this notion that fiddle players play with exaggerated accents, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. Fiddle players, by and large, are very smooth sounding players. Instead of slurring with two-note slurs, usually we slur with three-note slurs. It gives a rounder sound to the music that's being played and to the feel of our groove. So think about your bow direction, think about your slurs, and when you're learning fiddle tunes, try to keep every note equal. Every note has the same value. So that's a fiddle tune, Arkansas Traveler. You've heard it before on cartoons or on advertisements. Certainly if you're from the great state of Arkansas. You definitely heard this. But it's a classic tune in the bluegrass, the jam, the folk scene, and, you know, the bass and melody. There's no jerkiness, no uneven, unnatural sounding, accenting, or bowing. I'm trying to keep everything as smooth as possible. And as I develop the idea of the melody, expand upon it, and get to a place where I'm feeling like I'm challenging myself while I'm playing it, I'm still trying to be as smooth and as accurate as possible. So over time, as you're practicing, remember, be smooth. Think about ornamentation that might be more suitable to a particular style. Irish ornamentation is different than bluegrass ornamentation, which is different than Cajun and blues and jazz. Oh my gosh, the list is so long. It's a deep catalog of music to study, to listen to and learn. That's it. Listen. Listen to as many players as you can. Find the sounds, find the tunes that mean the most to you, that catch your ear, and lay into that. When I was a little bit younger, I was a member of Bruce Hornsby's band, the Noisemakers. It was an incredible privilege and a great honor to be a part of that band. The very first rehearsal that we had was in Denver, Colorado, and I remember Bruce telling me two things. If you play it wrong, play it strong. Just meaning, hey, don't shy away from your mistake, just own it, get on down the road. That was really help when you're playing gigs that are basically all improvised. And the other thing he told me was play with big ears. Listen with big ears. And that really hit me, because I think the fastest way for us to grow as musicians certainly is to have the instrument in hand, but to have references, very specific sounds that we're chasing, that we want to learn how to execute and then make our own, because all of our hands are different. You can't copy somebody totally because you don't have their hands. It's fine. Sound like yourself. If you try to spend all your time trying to sound like everybody else, who's going to sound like you someday? So that's a lot of information in a short amount of time, but I'm grateful you tuned in to watch this segment, a little bit of sound advice. Again, my name is Ross Holmes, and thanks to Dario for having me join for this episode. Happy fiddling, y'all.